It's a quiet morning in Pyongyang when Kim Jong-un wakes up to a problem that keeps most world leaders awake at night. His country is drowning in sanctions, cut off from the global financial system, and desperately needs foreign currency to survive. But here's the thing about North Korea. They don't just accept defeat, they get creative. While you're scrolling through your phone, ordering coffee, or checking your bank account, somewhere in the shadows of the internet, North Korean hackers are orchestrating one of the most sophisticated money laundering operations the world has ever seen. They're not just stealing millions, they're washing it clean and funneling it straight back to fund their nuclear program. This isn't some Hollywood thriller. This is happening right now, and the methods they're using are so ingenious that even cybersecurity experts are left scratching their heads. We're talking about a regime that has turned digital crime into a national industry, generating hundreds of millions of dollars annually while staying completely invisible to traditional banking systems. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how North Korea has built the most advanced money laundering machine in history. We'll dive deep into their crypto heists, their army of keyboard warriors, and the underground networks that move dirty money across continents. By the end of this video, you'll understand why intelligence agencies around the world are calling this the greatest financial threat of our time. But before we get into the weeds of blockchain manipulation and digital currency exchanges, let me set the stage with a story that will blow your mind. Picture this. It's 2016, and employees at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York are staring at their screens in disbelief. Someone has just attempted to steal nearly $1 billion from Bangladesh's central bank. The hackers didn't use explosives or masks. They used nothing but code and patience. This wasn't your typical cybercrime. This was the work of the Lazarus Group, North Korea's elite hacking unit, and it marked the beginning of a new era in state-sponsored financial warfare. They managed to steal $81 million in that single operation, but that was just the warm-up act. What makes this story even more incredible is that most people have no idea it's happening. While we're debating about cryptocurrency regulations and digital privacy, North Korea has already figured out how to exploit every loophole in the system. They've weaponized our own technology against us, turning our digital financial infrastructure into their personal ATM. The scale of this operation is absolutely staggering. We're not talking about a few hackers in a basement. This is a coordinated effort involving thousands of operatives, sophisticated software, and a network that spans the globe. The United Nations estimates that North Korea steals between $400 million and $1 billion annually through cybercrime alone. That's more than some countries' entire GDP. Here's what really gets me. They're not just stealing this money and stuffing it under mattresses. They've created an entire ecosystem for cleaning it, moving it, and converting it into resources that directly fund their weapons programs. Every successful hack, every laundered dollar, brings them one step closer to their ultimate goal of becoming a nuclear superpower. The traditional banking system has walls, regulations, and oversight. But cryptocurrency? That's the Wild West, and North Korea has become the fastest gun in town. They've mastered the art of moving money through digital currencies in ways that would make even the most seasoned money launderers jealous. What's particularly fascinating is how they've adapted to every countermeasure thrown at them. When exchanges started implementing better security, they developed new attack vectors. When governments began tracking cryptocurrency transactions, they found ways to make their money disappear into the digital ether. It's like watching a real-time evolution of financial crime. The beauty of their system, if you can call it that, is its simplicity. They don't need to physically move cash across borders or maintain complex networks of shell companies. Everything happens in cyberspace, where borders don't exist and traditional law enforcement struggles to keep up. But here's where it gets really interesting. North Korea didn't just stumble into this. They've been building toward this moment for decades. While other countries were focusing on conventional warfare, they were quietly assembling an army of hackers, mathematicians, and computer scientists. They turned their isolation into an advantage, creating a closed system where they could develop these capabilities without outside interference. The regime has essentially created a parallel economy that operates entirely outside the traditional financial system. They've built their own cryptocurrency exchanges, developed their own laundering techniques, and established their own networks for moving money. It's like they've created their own internet within the internet. What makes this even more remarkable is that they're doing all of this while under some of the strictest sanctions in history. Most countries would collapse under this kind of economic pressure, but North Korea has found a way to not just survive, but thrive. They've turned their biggest weakness into their greatest strength. The implications of this go far beyond North Korea itself. They're essentially proving that traditional financial controls are obsolete in the digital age. If an isolated, heavily sanctioned regime can move hundreds of millions of dollars with impunity, what does that say about the security of our entire financial system? This isn't just about money, it's about power. Every successful operation makes North Korea stronger and more dangerous. The cash they steal today becomes the missiles they launch tomorrow. The cryptocurrency they launder this week funds the nuclear program that threatens global security next month. The most chilling part is how invisible this all is to the average person. While we're going about our daily lives, this shadow economy is operating right under our noses. The apps we use, the exchanges we trade on, the networks we rely on, they're all potentially part of this vast money laundering machine. Intelligence agencies around the world are scrambling to understand and combat this threat, but they're fighting a war with rules while their enemy operates without any. Traditional law enforcement is designed for a world of physical evidence and geographical boundaries. But how do you arrest someone who exists only as code? How do you sanction a country that has already learned to operate outside the system? The sophistication of their operations is truly mind-blowing. They've developed techniques that are years ahead of what most legitimate financial institutions are using. They understand blockchain technology better than the people who created it. They've weaponized artificial intelligence and machine learning to automate their attacks and stay one step ahead of security measures. What's happening here isn't just crime, it's innovation. North Korea is pioneering new methods of financial warfare that other bad actors around the world are already starting to copy. They're writing the playbook for how rogue states can survive and thrive in the digital age. The rabbit hole goes deeper than most people realize. This isn't just about hacking and cryptocurrency. It's about a complete reimagining of how money moves in the modern world. North Korea has figured out how to exploit every weakness in our digital infrastructure, and they're not slowing down. They've created a system so complex and so distributed that even when authorities shut down one part of it, 10 more spring up to take its place. It's like playing whack-a-mole with an opponent who can create new moles faster than you can hit them. In the next part of this investigation, we're going to dive into the specific techniques they use to steal cryptocurrency, how they recruit hackers from around the world, and the shocking truth about who's really behind some of the biggest crypto heists in history. The methods they've developed are so advanced that they're changing the entire landscape of cybercrime. We need to understand that this isn't some loosely organized group of hackers working part-time from internet cafes. This is a full-scale military operation disguised as cybercrime. The Lazarus Group operates like a Fortune 500 company, complete with departments, specializations, and annual performance reviews. Except instead of selling products, they're stealing billions. The organizational structure is absolutely fascinating, At the top, you have the leadership directing overall strategy from Pyongyang. Below them are specialized units focusing on different aspects of the operation. Some teams handle the initial penetration of targets, others specialize in moving stolen funds, and still others focus on laundering the money once it's been acquired. What really sets them apart is their recruitment strategy. They don't just rely on North Korean hackers. They've built a global network of freelancers who often have no idea they're working for the regime. Imagine getting a job offer for a legitimate cryptocurrency company, only to discover, months later, that you've been helping fund North Korea's nuclear program. They post job listings on legitimate freelancing websites, create fake companies with professional websites, and even conduct video interviews to maintain their cover. The level of deception is staggering. They've created entire fake identities, complete with social media profiles, professional histories, and references that check out. These unwitting accomplices handle everything from software development to customer service for what they believe are legitimate businesses. Meanwhile, the real purpose of their work is to facilitate massive financial crimes. It's like a massive shell game where the players don't even know they're part of the game. The technical sophistication of their attacks has evolved dramatically over the years. In the early days, they relied on relatively simple phishing attacks and basic malware. Now they're using zero-day exploits, advanced persistent threats, and artificial intelligence to automate their operations. They've developed custom malware that can sit dormant in financial systems for months, quietly learning how the systems work before striking. This isn't smash-and-grab robbery. This is surgical precision applied to digital theft. They study their targets like scientists, understanding every vulnerability and weakness before making their move. One of their most effective techniques involves what cybersecurity experts call living off the land. Instead of introducing foreign malware that might be detected, they use legitimate tools and software that are already present in the target system. It's like using the victim's own weapons against them. The cryptocurrency angle is where things get really interesting. Traditional money laundering requires physical infrastructure, banks, shell companies, complicit individuals. But with cryptocurrency, they can move money across borders instantly without ever touching the traditional banking system. They've mastered the art of cryptocurrency mixing, a process that essentially scrambles the digital fingerprints of stolen funds. Imagine taking 100 dirty dollar bills and somehow turning them into 100 clean ones that have no traceable connection to the original theft. That's essentially what they're doing. But with digital currency, the mixing process involves sending stolen cryptocurrency through a series of automated transactions that split, combine, and redirect the funds through thousands of different addresses. By the time the money emerges from this digital washing machine, it's virtually impossible to trace back to its criminal origins. But they don't stop there. They've also developed techniques for converting cryptocurrency into traditional currency without triggering anti-money laundering systems. They use a network of small exchanges, peer-to-peer trading platforms, and even legitimate businesses that unknowingly accept their cleaned funds. The scale of their operations has grown exponentially. What started as opportunistic attacks on individual targets has evolved into systematic campaigns against entire industries. They've targeted cryptocurrency exchanges, decentralized finance platforms, and even traditional banks that have digital assets. The 2022 attack on the Ronin blockchain network netted them over $600 million in a single operation. That's more money than most countries spend on their entire military budgets, and this was just one attack out of dozens they conduct each year. What makes these attacks even more dangerous is their patience. They don't rush in and grab whatever they can find. They spend months studying their targets, learning their security systems, and identifying the most valuable assets. When they finally strike, they know exactly what to take and how to take it. The human element is crucial to their success. They've become masters of social engineering, the art of manipulating people into revealing sensitive information. They'll spend weeks building relationships with employees at target companies, gaining their trust before exploiting it. They create elaborate personas, complete with fake LinkedIn profiles, professional credentials, and even romantic relationships. There are documented cases of North Korean operatives maintaining fake romantic relationships for months just to gain access to a single target's computer system. The psychological warfare aspect is particularly disturbing. They understand that humans are often the weakest link in any security system, so they focus their efforts on exploiting human nature rather than just technical vulnerabilities. They've also weaponized our own social media against us. They mine platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for information about potential targets, building detailed profiles of their victims before ever making contact. They know where you work, who your friends are, what your interests are, and how to craft messages that you are likely to respond to. The speed at which they adapt to new security measures is remarkable. When cryptocurrency exchanges started implementing multi-signature wallets, they found ways to compromise multiple keys simultaneously. When governments began tracking blockchain transactions, they developed new methods for obscuring their digital footprints. They're not just reacting to security improvements, they're anticipating them. They have teams dedicated to studying emerging security technologies and developing countermeasures before those technologies are even widely deployed. The economic impact of their operations extends far beyond the immediate theft. Every successful attack undermines confidence in digital financial systems, driving up security costs for everyone. Insurance premiums increase, compliance requirements become more stringent, and innovation slows down as companies focus on defense rather than development. They've essentially created a tax on the entire digital economy. Every time someone uses a cryptocurrency exchange or digital wallet, part of the fees they pay goes towards security measures designed to prevent North Korean attacks. We're all paying for their crimes, whether we realize it or not. The geopolitical implications are staggering. They're using stolen money to fund weapons programs that threaten global security. Every successful hack brings them closer to their goal of becoming a nuclear superpower. The cryptocurrency they steal today becomes the uranium they enrich tomorrow. What's particularly concerning is how they've turned their isolation into an advantage. While other countries worry about international law and diplomatic consequences, North Korea operates with complete impunity. They can launch attacks from the safety of their closed borders, knowing that traditional law enforcement has no way to reach them. The technology they're developing for these operations has applications far beyond money laundering. The same techniques they use to steal cryptocurrency could be used to attack power grids, communication networks, or military systems. They're essentially building a digital weapons arsenal while generating the funds to expand it. The most terrifying part is that they're getting better at this faster than we're getting better at stopping them. While cybersecurity companies are playing catch-up, North Korea is already 3 moves ahead. They've created a system that learns from every defense, adapts to every countermeasure, and evolves with every failed attempt to stop them. What we're witnessing isn't just financial crime, it's the birth of a new kind of warfare. Traditional conflicts are fought with tanks and missiles, but North Korea is waging economic war with keyboards and code. They've figured out how to cripple their enemies without firing a single shot. The interconnected nature of our digital world means that an attack launched from a basement in Pyongyang can instantly affect financial systems in New York, London, and Tokyo. They've weaponized globalization itself, turning our own connectivity against us. Their success has inspired copycat operations around the world. Other rogue states are studying North Korea's playbook, learning from their techniques and adapting them to their own purposes. What started as one country's desperate attempt to survive sanctions has become a template for digital warfare. The irony is that the very technology designed to democratize finance and free us from traditional banking controls has become North Korea's greatest weapon. Cryptocurrency was supposed to give power to the people, but instead it's given power to one of the world's most oppressive regimes. They've created a perpetual motion machine of crime. The money they steal funds the development of better hacking tools, which enables them to steal more money, which funds even better tools. It's a cycle that feeds on itself, growing stronger with each successful operation. The scariest part is that we're not just dealing with a criminal organization. We're dealing with a nuclear-armed state that has nothing to lose. When traditional criminals get caught, they go to prison. When North Korea gets caught, they just launch more attacks from behind their borders. Their operations have become so sophisticated that they're essentially running a shadow version of the legitimate financial system. They have their own exchanges, their own trading networks, and their own methods for moving money that parallel everything we use in the legal world. The psychological impact on their victims goes far beyond financial loss. Companies that get hit by these attacks often struggle to regain customer trust. Individual victims sometimes lose their life savings. The human cost of these operations is immeasurable. What makes this story even more incredible is that it's still unfolding. Right now, as you're watching this video, North Korean hackers are probably planning their next attack. They're studying new targets, developing new techniques, and preparing to steal millions more. The question isn't whether they'll continue these operations. It's whether we'll figure out how to stop them before they steal enough to fund their ultimate goal. Every day we fail to shut down their networks is another day they get closer to having the resources they need to threaten global security. The technological arms race between North Korea and the cybersecurity industry has become one of the defining conflicts of our time. It's a battle fought in code and cryptocurrency, where the stakes are measured in both dollars and nuclear warheads. Their success has fundamentally changed how we think about sanctions and international isolation. Traditional economic warfare assumed that cutting a country off from the global financial system would cripple them. And North Korea has proven that assumption wrong. They've shown that in the digital age, borders are meaningless and sanctions are optional. Any country with enough technical expertise and complete disregard for international law can potentially access the global economy through the back door. The implications for global security are staggering. If North Korea can steal billions while under the strictest sanctions in history, what happens when other rogue states adopt similar tactics? What happens when terrorist organizations master these techniques? We're entering an era where the most dangerous weapons aren't nuclear missiles or chemical bombs. They're lines of code that can steal the money needed to build those weapons. North Korea has opened Pandora's box, and there's no closing it now. The story of North Korea's money laundering empire is really the story of how crime has evolved in the digital age. They've taken ancient techniques of deception and theft and supercharged them with modern technology. The result is a criminal enterprise that operates at the speed of light and the scale of nations. What started as a desperate attempt to survive economic sanctions has become a blueprint for how rogue states can thrive in the modern world. They've proven that with enough creativity, determination, and complete disregard for the rules, even the most isolated country can become a global financial power. The most chilling part is that this is just the beginning. As technology continues to evolve and new financial systems emerge, North Korea will be there, ready to exploit every vulnerability and turn every innovation into a weapon. They've shown us the future of financial warfare, and it's more terrifying than we ever imagined. The battle for the future of money itself is being fought right now, and North Korea is winning. Unless we fundamentally change how we approach cybersecurity and international law enforcement, their shadow empire will only continue to grow stronger. The question isn't whether they'll succeed, it's whether we'll stop them before it's too late.